Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Perfect. Love passive aggression. This sort of stuff always makes my day. Parking wars are best reserved for impatient jerks and Karens who can't park. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Karen looking for parking space blocks me from getting to my vehicle. Here's my story. I, 53-year-old female, am a disabled vet and use a variety of mobility aids to get around. I also get almost all my health care and meds from the local VA hospital. This last Monday, I realized that I was out of some meds and hadn't received the refills yet, so I ran to the VA hospital pharmacy to get enough to tie me over. Since my local VA hospital is absolutely huge, I always use my mobility scooter because there's absolutely no way I can physically navigate the parking lot, as well as the labyrinth that the inside consists of. After I completed my transactions and checked in with a couple of my health providers, I scooted myself out the doors with the intention of loading up my scooter in my vehicle and getting the heck out of Dodge. Now, with this being a Monday, everyone and their dog is trying to find parking to get into the building, so there are cars driving around looking for open spots to park. As I'm headed past vehicles, one pulls slightly in front of me to block my ability to continue to move forward, and this Karen rolls down her window and yells at me for trying to cut in line. She was there first. Yada yada. Guy in the car next to me is just staring at her with this absolute WTF expression, about to get out of his vehicle to help me confront Karen. I shake my head and back my scooter up to go a different way to get to my vehicle. She passes me as I reach my truck and realizes that I'm loading up the scooter so I can leave. Well, she decides she's gonna take my spot. Not today, Karen. I nod at the guy who wanted to help me, hop in my truck, and back out of the parking space in a way that blocks Karen and gives easy access to the other guy. I did make sure to use all 5 fingers when I smiled and waved at her as I drove away. And our second story. I do work here, just not, here. I'll start this story by saying that I've been in some form of customer service for most of the past 45 years. Yep, I'm an old geezer. In all those years, I've had more than a few ridiculous customers, including one man who threatened to kill me because his credit application was turned down. But I've never really had a Karen or Kevin, whatever you call a male Karen. Today, I thought it was all about to change. I'm retired and working part-time for a friend who manages a large discount store. Clothing, housewares, home decor, etc. My job is shoes. That's it. I process the hundreds of shoes that they get daily. I spend my days in the back stock room. On days when there aren't a lot of shoes, I'll help run out the other stock. On this day of days, I was doing just that. I had a big rolling shelf chock full of impulse buys, those inexpensive items that stores always put up front by the registers, when it happened. There's a longish line of people waiting to check out, and as I'm rearranging a section to work in the new goodies, I hear a guy speaking to me. Nobody ever speaks to me. You could jump on that open register. Oh, happy day, joy of joys. Today, I finally get me a Karen. And a boy Karen to boot. I read hundreds of these stories on Reddit, and I'm not the shrinking violet that seems to attract them. I'm a jerk. Effing with jerks is my hobby. I smile at him. I can't do that. How come, he asks. Well, it's actually the same reason that you can't do it. I don't know how. I'm ready to go. I've waited my whole life for Karen or her husband, and today's my day. This is practically my big O. I'm locked and loaded. The man looks at me for a second. He's thinking of some smart butt comeback. Come on, dude, give me your best shot. Actually, that's a really good reason, he chuckles. Wait, what? But Mr. Karen, you're supposed to be mean, insane. WTF, now I gotta regroup. I point to the 3 or 4 young ladies who are cashiering. They only have the young pretty girls up front. They usually keep the old ugly dude in the back. But I escaped, I told him. He laughs again. That's a really good policy. As an ugly old dude myself, I'd much rather get checked out by pretty young girls than by another old guy. He gets called up next. Have a great rest of your day, he says as he heads over to one of the pretty girls. Well, crap. so today's not my day. Damn you, nice old dude. I know you're out there, Mr. and Miss Karen, and I'm waiting. And our next story. How I got a dangerous workshop repaired. So I know what people are going to say. If it was dangerous, why not just report it to health and safety? And my answer is that I am thick as mints. Plus, I've seen how they butchered the workshop of another department, putting insane safety measures in place that do little to actually protect people and mostly just get in the way. The safety person's only technically qualified, meaning they're an office worker that went to a course about it once. Go figure. So the situation was, I was working in a machining workshop, mill, lathe, surface grinder, etc., and it's old and worn out. Everything needs maintenance, but either management doesn't give us the time, it needs new parts that management won't buy, or it needs a proper service from a professional that management won't get in. Then someone in health and safety asks about safety checks, which the manager in charge sheepishly mentions there are none. Officially, at least. We have the sense to do them anyway, and so weekly safety checks are put in place. More paperwork. Boo. But I don't mind. Knowing this manager, he expects them done like all other safety checks in the factory, unless it's going to kill someone, signed to say it's okay anyway, and let him know so it can be fixed later. That way the machines don't get stopped constantly. But I realize the potential. Want me to do the checks? Sure, I'll do the checks perfectly. Spindle brake on the lathe is worn out, fail, locked off, nobody can use it till it's fixed. No emergency stop on the big drill, fail, locked off, nobody can use it. Plastic housing for the wiring on the mill's broken, fail, locked off, nobody can use it, etc., etc. Safe to say he wasn't happy. But what can he do? It's all recorded on paper and machines in the factory are stopping because they need parts making. Then came the big one. For a while we've noticed machines getting damaged overnight. Night shift shakes fist, but we weren't sure how. All the machines are on key locks and we have the only key. I come back after break one day and find a machine operator turning on a bench grinder to sharpen a knife. Cue some colorful words about what he thinks he's doing, why it's wrong, what I'll do to him if he does it again, and I ask how he turned it on. Turns out someone from night shift told him the lock is old and worn out and basically any similar key will work just fine, no matter what the bidding. So I go round to check and sure enough my locker key, the kind everyone in the factory has, turns on every machine. Some even worked with a screwdriver or just using the back end of another key because there was no lock left inside. Fail, 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 fail. Everything fails. The whole workshop stopped. If this was a cartoon, the manager's ears would be leaking steam by now. He insists that this doesn't count as a fail because reasons. Then that those locks with keys that control power aren't keyed interlocks, and so I don't need to check them before finally just insisting, it's okay, and I should pass it because he says so. Sure, I said, just put it in writing that it's you saying it's okay, not me. Sure backed down quick then. A day or so later, new locks turned up and were fitted, and the problem of overnight broken equipment went away. In the end, the manager got an earful from his bosses about production delays and another from health and safety when they found out these issues had been reported for a long time without anything done about them. And although he got away pretty clean, besides the bruised ego. And that's how the workshop went from old, crappy, and dangerous to just old and slightly less crappy. In case anyone was wondering, management only cares about your safety until it's inconvenient or costly to care. Then they have to be forced to care. No one cares about your safety more than you. And our last story. Entitled child destroys my property and threatens to evict me with entitled mother. For context, my childhood was spent growing up in Dubai in a villa compound, which is basically like a mini gated community of 16-odd villa homes that each have a private back garden that then converges in a large shared space with a pool, social area, foliage, etc. Now, as a result of this, everyone got to know their neighbors very well due to the shared social space, and as most homes had kids, we'd all play together in the pool. Now, there was a particular family with two very entitled children who we'll call Anna and Francis. Not actual names, who must have been about 9. These little turds were well known for causing trouble in the community and generally being extremely entitled. One story that sticks out most to me is the following, which I hope you enjoy. One afternoon, my younger brother runs into our house, having been playing in a group with some other kids and Anna and Francis, very frustrated. He announces to me that Anna and Francis are currently in our back private garden ripping the heads off our flowers. I, of course, go outside to find the two gremlins ripping apart plants and kicking our hedges while being supervised by their nanny, who spoke very little English. Me, what do you think you're doing? Anna, F you, we can do whatever we want. Me, stop that and get out of our garden. The nanny just stood there with a vacant expression on her face, so I walked up to her as the kids continued to destroy our garden. Me, excuse me, aren't you going to do something? Nanny, no, they do what they want till dinner. Me, this is our garden. Can you make them leave, please? This time, no response besides vacant blinking. So naturally, my younger brother and I turn to the gremlins and very firmly tell them, stop and get out now, and start to usher them towards the exit. This is when Anna drops some big threats. Anna, my mother owns this whole compound. We own your house, a-hole. They had colorful language for children their age. Me, she really doesn't. Now get out. Anna, we own your house. We can break anything we want. We can do anything we want. We'll get you kicked out. At this point, we've pushed them out, followed meekly by their nanny, and locked the garden gate. On the other side, they hurl obscenities and eventually run off to find their entitled mother. I'm told by my own mom that she had a heated conversation with the EM, who in fact did not own the compound, but was very displeased that her children's fun was interrupted by my brother and I. Apparently, we have no right to upset or interfere in matters involving her children, and we would do well to keep our business to ourselves or the landlord would be called. Suffice to say, my mom was having none of it and asked politely that her children don't invite themselves into our garden and don't destroy our property, which was in fact grounds to involve the landlord. The EM left in a huff, and we didn't hear from them for a couple of weeks, thankfully, but it wouldn't be long before we crossed paths with their BS again. I wonder what would have happened if your mother explained to EM that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. In other words, if it's okay for her kids to come over and destroy your garden, then it's obviously okay for you and your brother to go over to their garden and destroy it. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.